Do, 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 do. Head on the enemy team. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Y'all probably won the game. Ah, we're back, and if you look at the screen, we got some red markers. We got some third-person view. We got a bunch of red things below us, and we are in one of the planes that exist, the Dornois Trace Cinco, the 335. We got the laughing donkey decals because, in all honesty, like, this plane's kind of a meme, and this is one of my guilty pleasures for AirRB because as AirRB has changed, because they went and took the mode from a 12 versus 12 person mode to make it into a 16 versus 16 poopery of kind of horseshit. This plane still manages to hold up because as the game has grown, as they've added more players and the players have gotten worse, your early game presence matters a lot more than it used to because, spoiler alert, if you wait until 5 to 6 minutes into the game to side climb and to turn in, things can go really badly really quickly because I've played a little bit of AirRB in the last few days, and one of the things that I've noticed is you can't trust your team. And you can't trust your team even less than you could previously trust your team. Like, we just flashed the scoreboard there. I think a fourth of my team is already dead. And we literally basically flew straight towards the merge. And we have a Dornois 335 in the background. That dude's going to get 5 kills basically at the dead-ass start of the match. And we're not in a team that's fighter light. We're not really struggling. We don't have the good old 4 Ju-288s and 2 fighters versus all fighters. Like, we have a pretty balanced team, but my team is going to just kind of evaporate itself in the background. In the meantime, I am going to ignore going for low priority targets. I'm going to go for the quote-unquote high priority target. I'm going to go for the Yak 3U. And I'm just kind of memeing around at this point. Like, I kind of don't care. Like, I'm playing the 335. I want to get some SL so I can spend all my money on other bullshit. The guy ignores me for just long enough, and that's going to give us some position. It's going to give us something to work with. And in my head, I'm thinking, hey, if I take out the 3U, the best 5.7 in the game, like, this thing is kind of completely busted. Plane should reasonably be at least 6.0, probably, possibly 6.3. Honestly, it'd be like a good 6.1 kind of thing if, like, battle ratings were not graduating 0.3 increments, because, like, I don't know that it held up to 6.3 because, I mean, 7.3 is just jets and the planes can just run away from it. But the plane's really good, but also it just exploded. So we're just going to keep on going. In the background, though, I'm kind of flashing the scoreboard, and our team is kind of dying, which is really unfortunate. We got into Spitfire. We're going to go below him, and we're going to go try to help the team. We know that we can outrun this guy. We don't want to turn fight him because it's a bad idea. You see the word Spitfire, and if you're anything that isn't Japanese, you just don't turn with it. We got an F8F. He's going to come in. He's going to try to shoot at us. And we're going to try to do the wholesome thing. We're going to try to save our teammates. Get a TU-1 in the head-on. Get a hit, a critical hit. Nothing actually happens. Roll underneath of this guy, and then we're just going to kind of, like, fly the fuck away because we probably have that Spitfire on our ass. And in spite of everything that me and the other 335 have tried to do, our team has managed to kind of throw the entire match. And this is the thing that people find frustrating about AirRB, is because making a strategy for it is not actually all that predictable. And I also think that's why, like, if you've paid any attention to AirRB content in the past, like, 2 years, like, as the games have gotten bigger, the ability to form a narrative around a single match and make a coherent strategy, like, it just doesn't exist. Like, this is a mode for people that want to gamble, and, like, I like the mode because I like to gamble. I like to fucking call out people's bullshit, and, like, come in with my bullshit plane with a lot of guns that I can't aim with a shit, and just get as many kills as I can. But our team has evaporated. We're basically, I think, less than 10 minutes into this match, and this is not particularly uncommon. Like, you can avoid it if you play the plane correctly, and you can get 3 kills in the beginning, and if you get the 3 kills at the beginning, that's worth a lot. Like, it does fucking matter. If you set up your team for a +3 advantage in the early game, even if they're retarded, they can usually manage to make it work. On the backside, though, the plane doesn't have the performance really to make an honest effort at carrying. You can do it, it's possible, but the other team has to be cooperative. And spoiler alert, just because the other team sweeps your team doesn't mean that they were good. It means that your team was bad and their team might just be less bad. And that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to attempt to carry, but in the meantime, the tickets are going to drain. The guys on the enemy team are going to get a ticket advantage, and the tickets are going to bleed really quickly. And this is one of the things that got me out of AirRB is there's not really a good like win condition that's like exploitable. There's not a win condition where you can kind of look at it and you have like a good chance of carrying. Like this guy here, like I don't know why he ignored me. I honestly don't know. I can't tell you, but he thought the JU-288 was a better target, and he goes after it, and he just fucking dies. Like, how did my team die to this, man? I don't understand, but at the same time, I do understand, because that's just the way AirRB goes. Now we get an LA9 behind us, so we're going to just kind of do Yield run the fuck away. We've got the old 8 rounds of, I think, 20 mil and 22 rounds of 30 mil, and what we're hoping for is he breaks off and we can go back and start to attack him, and he does just that. And I think he's going to turn back into us, if I remember the game correctly, because we be drinking some beer, because that's the thing that we do. And he's going to come in. I'm going to shoot a little bit. I lose more ammo, don't hit, and I'm going to dogfight this guy, because I have to shit or get off the pot. If I don't start killing people, I have no chance of winning. I can't have the luxury of going to 6,000 meters and just waiting the game out. There's no hour-long AirRB matches. There's really no 25-minute-long AirRB matches anymore, because I think in a lot of cases the map will win itself, meaning that there is a coded-in win condition where, spoiler alert, the AI fucking kills itself enough that, like, you can't win. But we get the guy, we get really lucky there. Like, that guy should win it. The Do-335, not a very maneuverable plane. Like, spoiler alert, if you look at this thing, it's the size of a city bus, but also because it's the size of a city bus that might have four-wheel steering, people do tend to underestimate it, and you can use that in your favor. People see the Do-335 maneuvering with someone and it goes, ah, this guy's fucking ass, I got his ass, and they don't really think about what they're going to do. And because of the way that props is right now, you get a lot of people who are like level 23, level 24, like very early into the game, that if you have the experience, you can exploit it against them. But we're sitting here, we got 4 kills. We're going to go all the way back to the base. We're going to land, we're going to take off, and we're going to end up engaging the Spitfire. And spoiler alert, we're going to lose on tickets. And we have just teleported into the future. We are going to be taking off. We have a Spitfire above us. He is basically confining us to the spawn, but we're going to do a good 90-degree turn here to the right. And usually when I'm in this situation, I fucking hate camping the airfield. I don't care how bad my plane is. I am not going to ditch to my airfield to try to win the game or try to force a better situation. As long as I have like at least a little bit of altitude below me to actually use, I'm going to try to use it. Now, if this guy's like directly above the airfield and I can't actually leave it, then like, yeah, obviously, like, I might circle it a few times till I get to like 1,000 meters or something, like to have something to maybe counterattack. But I'm not going to deny the fact that, like, hey, I fucked up. I had to go back to base to resupply and do all my bullshit. And you climbed. I'm not going to try to deny that advantage, but I'm also not going to try to use my AA to, like, win the game for me. But in the meantime, I'm just climbing off to the side here. I'm trying to not necessarily climb at the best climb speed. I'm trying to maximize, like, the angle because I can get horizontal separation, and eventually maybe either if this guy spends the fucking game going up way too fucking high, I might be able to counter with that. And if I have enough altitude below me, yeah, I'm going to dive, but if I can get enough altitude below me and I can dive once, do a counter, come back up, and then have enough altitude left over to maybe try to do it again. And what this guy's going to do, he's going to kind of like flub it. He comes in, and really what he should just do is just turn. Just got throttle turned, sit on my ass. He's not going to do that. He's using his plane as a boom and zoomer. And he just kind of goes up. And back in the good old days of like good aiming squish or good drunk squish, I would just hit these. But holy fuck, you can tell that, ooh, I am like basically brand new at this. Like, I understand how to play AirRB, but the mechanics of actually doing it are not good. But we come out with a 5-kill game. We win in our hearts, but we lose in reality. And that game there, basically 90% of the kills are from Do-335s. Like, the one guy came in, got 5 kills. I got 5 kills. That's 10, but also that means that there's potentially 6 left. That means there's 6 planes that the whole entire rest of our team had to kill and somehow fucking failed at doing it. Like, they failed spectacularly. And that's one of the things that just fucking happens. And that is one of the most frustrating aspects of, like, modern RRB, is where you feel like you've done everything right, you feel like you've set up our team for success, and they somehow maximize the ability to just, like, completely fuck it up. It means that, like, traditionally, things that I would say that were really, really good, like the P-47, that kind of rely on, like, being really relevant in mid-game, if your team doesn't make it to mid-game, if they don't make it past, like, and mid-game at this point, it's like the 7-minute mark, basically, if they don't live past climb and 2 minutes in, like, you just might be fucked. That's one of the most frustrating aspects of the new 16v16 matchmaker. Now, that doesn't mean that I think the P-47 is bad. It means that we're going to have to take all the traditional bullshit that we used to do in the good old days and probably modify it a little bit. It means that we're going to have to be a little bit more ballsy, and we'll probably have to kill more players up front. Or we're going to have to do some psychological warfare in chat and tell all the US players, like, hey, dumb motherfucker, climb a little bit. Like, don't go for the bombers right away. Don't go on to the first thing, because RRB right now is a catch-22. Well, it's so random that I need to go and get kills right away, otherwise I might not get any reward. But if I do that, it means that other players are going to have to do that, and it just turns into, like, a huge heap of bullshit. So it's hard to do, but you can manage. Now we go in, we shoot a B-17, and we take an engine hit, and the engine hits in this plane fucking suck. I hate engine hits. I hate the hit boxes on this plane. But just because we have an engine hit doesn't mean we're not going to try to use the air spawn to our advantage, because this thing sucks. But it's got the guns, it has the speed, and it has the forward air spawn, which means for basically the first 5 minutes of the game, if people aren't paying attention, you kind of run the board. You can tilt the scales, and that's exactly what we're going to try to do. And just because you're tilting the scales doesn't necessarily translate into kills specifically. A lot of the times, like, you go in, maybe you get 1, maybe you get none, and you get 3 people on you, and there's 3 people that are slower than you, and they're going to chase you for 5 minutes. It means that if your team is, like, basically average, they should come out ahead. That doesn't always work out, because obviously the last game exists. And by the way, both of these games are they're in a row. They're slightly cherry-picked in the fact that I wanted to showcase, like, relatively good games. I wanted to get, like, a little bit of legs underneath of me, because I have a lot of 4 kills. I have a lot of 5 kills that are, like, less interesting. These are not particularly interesting, but they give, like, a good juxtaposition of, like, you know, like, the ups and the downs, and depending on how well you struggle, you can do good. But the struggle is real, and the struggle means that your team might just evaporate. Like, it's sorry, but that is the reality right now. And trying to tilt your team, the only way to do it is you squad up with your best buddy and you guys play good. And that actually still works. I did squad up with some of my good old friends, and maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. But basically, all of the stuff that used to work, especially in the group, like, it still works just as good. Like, if you used to be good, if you used to understand how the game used to be played, congratulations, it's exactly the same, but now there's just 16 people in the match. And it also means that doing things solo can be harder. Anyways, we kill the guy, and we're going to come down for the 82. And this is just a game where I'm just going for as many frags as I can get, because the longer I sit in the game, the longer I wait for the engine to kill itself, the worse off I am. I'm trying to basically run out the clock before the engine dies. And killing off these low priority guys like the 82, like, that guy's not really a threat, but it means that if he's sitting down there, one of these guys is a little bit higher and a better plane is going to potentially come down and try to kill him. And it means if he comes down to try to kill him, it means he's not trying to kill a guy that, like, actually might be a threat. We go head on for the F8. We get the crit. God, it feels so good to actually get the head-on crits again. And we go up, we rip the flap. But because he's crit, because this plane's not particularly bad, and the F8F is not particularly good, has like one good turn. If the guy doesn't know what he's doing, he's not going to utilize it correctly. He gets set on fire, and we're just going to like finish off the kill because like I feel like I fucking earned that. Like I want that to pop up on the leaderboard. Anyways, at this point, we're going to look at the scoreboard, and we're going to turn a little bit back. And at this point, not really worried about winning or losing the game. We have a pretty decisive numbers advantage. Like the 2 or 3 guys that are left, they're not going to come in and carry. Like, I'm pretty safe. And this is the thing that the Do-335 is really good at, is if you can offset the numbers really quickly early in the game, you can cause the game to potentially snowball. And this is probably the easiest, most meta strategy to do on a consistent basis. And also, because this plane is premium, it means that I'm stacking fucking fat stacks of Silver Lions, which might be helpful in the next patch, might not be. Like, we might get some AMRAMs and some shit, and that might just be upgrades on planes we already have. We might get new planes with AMRAMs, but, you know, having some money in the bank is pretty nice to have. Anyways, that's pretty much the rest of the gameplay. I think I'm gonna go back to the base and resupply, but this has just got like a pretty good example of like why I like AirRB. Not better than SB. Like, both of the modes are good, but both of the modes are different enough that like I don't really like comparing them. Like, I like the structure, I like the gambling habits that AirRB builds, because like in AirRB, you spawn in, you look at the planes around you, you look at the BR rating, you look at everything that you have, you look at the hand that you've been dealt, and for the first 3 minutes of the game, you're looking at it going, how the fuck do I play this? How do I bluff it? Do I go head on with 3 people, kill them right away? Do I play energy? When do I transition between the two? Do I have to go save basically 2 or 3 dumb motherfuckers that are like have went for an 82 right away and gamble on the fact that maybe they pull their head out of their ass to try to win? Or do I try to play pure energy and play altitude advantage for the whole entire game? Because all of those options are valid, but all of those options can go really, really shitty really, really quickly depending on the situation that you're in. That's what I like about AirRB, though, is you have to play the hand that you're dealt. This is way different than AirSB, because AirSB, you can look at the lobby before you join it, you can look at the battle ratings before you join them, and because you have a perpetual respawning mode, it means that if I die in the 335, so if I have some dude in a 109 or in a P51 come and dogfight me in the 335 in Sim, and I lose, I can get really mad, and I can just bring in a 109 F4, something more maneuverable, and if he tries to do the same shit again, I can beat him. It means that in Sim, you have kind of the Africa mod cycle of, basically, guys will either spawn in, they will spawn in their main plane, and then when they lose, or they spawn in something like a 190, they'll lose, and then we're going to go into a 109. In AirRB, you don't have that. You have to play the plane that your fucking dumb bitch ass decided to come and play. And because of that, I think that a lot of the decision-making process in AirRB is readily translatable to AirSB. Like, AirRB players, if you understand how to play the game, and if you understand how to shit or get off the pot, you can do a lot of shit in AirSB that SB players are not necessarily inclined to be in tune to. Anyways, we're going to take off, and the game's going to end. We got the ticket lead. We're going to go kill some AI targets. And anyways, we're back in AirRB. We're going to do some head-on forcing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, maybe I'll make more AirRB content. Anyways, if you like videos like this is kind of like a lazier video. By the way, I'm not doing a script. I'm just doing gameplay commentary. Let me know. I can do more of them. I will play and pander to the audience, because, you know, that's the YouTube grind. We want more viewers to talk about the viewer of the channeling and doing the viewership thing. Anyways, like, subscribe, don't. Leave me an angry comment. It's fine. Next time, I think I will probably try to do something more in-depth, more technical. I'll maybe do a script. I like doing scripts, but I need to find something to do a script on. And drinking beer and making script at the same time just doesn't work. So anyways, that's the video. See you next time.